Now, throughout NBA history, there's been plenty of players who played with or against each other that you had no clue who were related. With Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter being superstars during their primes, many often overlook the two being closely related despite looking so different from each other. The two were definitely close off the court as well, and luckily they both had an opportunity to play with each other right when they made the NBA. Tracy McGrady was drafted by the Raptors with the 9th pick in the 1997 NBA draft after coming directly from high school, and after some time gaining experience in the league, Tracy definitely made an impact on the team, but his talents weren't showcased fully until Vince Carter arrived. Vince was drafted the following year by the Warriors with the 5th pick in the 1998 NBA draft, but he was immediately traded on draft night to the Raptors. When Vince got there, it woke up a beast in McGrady that no one had saw before. The two of them began to click and form chemistry that was unmatched. D. Brown, who was on the same Raptors team as Vince and Tracy, talked about their bond behind the scenes. He said, "They say they're cousins, but Siamese twins is more like it." Both guys also had a memorable performance in the 2000 dunk contest, and Carter showcased arguably the most memorable slam dunk contest win in history that year. But growing up, the two didn't actually know they were cousins. It wasn't revealed to either of them until 1997 when both McGrady and Carter were approaching making the NBA. At a family reunion in Atlanta in July 1997, McGrady, who had just graduated from Mount Zion Academy in Durham, North Carolina, was approached by a woman who wanted to talk about sports. She asked him whether or not he knew her grandson, Vince Carter, and McGrady said sure, and he explained that sometimes they played pickup games at North Carolina where Carter had finished his sophomore year. In fact, whenever McGrady needed a place to store his gear, Carter would let him use his locker. But Carter's grandmother explained that her father-in-law is the brother of McGrady's grandmother, making Tracy and Vince second cousins, and when Tracy heard the news, he said, "I started freaking out. I couldn't wait to tell Vince we were related." And the two of them became even closer than they once were because of this, and on the court, they led the Raptors to a 45-37 record and their first playoff appearance in team history. Raptors general manager at the time spoke about both of them, saying, "Tracy has the versatility and perimeter skill to play shooting guard, and Vince is pretty much a pure three, so we could play them together." When talking about Carter, McGrady gave him high praise, saying, "My boy's out of control, but it's not just dunks. He can take you on the basket, he's big enough to post you up, he can rebound and block shots, he's just real well-rounded." Pacers former president Donnie Walsh even once compared the cousins, saying, "If you compare their rookie seasons, it was apparent that Vince was the one who played in college and had access to better coaching." In Tracy's case, the strides that he made from his rookie year to last season were significant. I think he'll just keep getting better. If he could make that adjustment to point guard, which is what I'm thinking they're trying to do with him, I know that's what I would try to do with him, he could be a great player in this league. His mistakes will be more obvious there than if he's playing the two, but he has the athleticism, and at his height, he'll be very hard to defend. A Raptors head coach at the time said, "We had to make a rule in practice that you couldn't dunk because Vince and Tracy would try some crazy stuff in practice. They tried to outdo each other. If Vince dunked on somebody during the game, Tracy's like, okay, I got one better than you." Then he would try to dunk on someone else during the game. At the beginning of Vince Carter's career, he was actually drawing comparisons to Michael Jordan, and he became the talk of the NBA after a 51-point outburst on national television, and Carter became a rising star. Raptors coach back then even said, there were days when Vince had to walk around with a hood on and his face covered because it got to the point where he was the biggest celebrity in Toronto for sure. Now, with Tobias Harris and Channing Frye being completely different players at different stages of their career, little did many know these two have actually been very close behind the scenes over the years because of them being so closely related. Channing Frye, being the older cousin, was drafted by the Knicks with the 8th pick in the 2005 draft, but he made his way around the league playing for many teams, eventually retiring in 2019. Tobias Harris, however, is still going. He was drafted by the Bobcats with the 19th pick in the 2011 NBA draft, but was traded to the Bucks on draft night. Tobias has also played for a handful of teams, including the 76ers, where he's at now. But during the early stages of Tobias' career, he made his way to Orlando, where him and Channing were actually teammates for 2 years. After the Magic, Channing went to the Cavs to play alongside LeBron James, and Tobias moved on from the Magic to the Pistons, where in 2016, they had a reunion playing against each other in the first round of the 2016 playoffs. Now, the Cavs ended up sweeping the Pistons, but after the series, the cousins had a few things to say about each other. Tobias said, "We always looking out for each other on and off the court. We're family, so family's gonna be there to look out for each other. When I got traded, he was one of the first to call me and wish me the best, and I wish him the best too. The minute he got traded, I knew it was a good situation for him. We have a difference in age, but we're still family. Obviously, I grew up watching him play a lot, got to see a lot of college games, followed him real heavy and seen him make the NBA, and him making it showed me it could happen with hard work and just to keep working hard. He's definitely a great older cousin and a role model for me growing up." And Channing, who was actually closer to Tobias' older brother growing up, still considers Tobias just as close, and he actually talked about Tobias saying, "When you're in basketball, you're gonna play each other, regardless. It is interesting, but at the end of the day, I think he knows how I am. I know who he is, so other than maybe Wednesday night, we may not speak to each other the rest of the thing. It's about business. I've talked to him enough, so we'll be fine afterwards, but right now it's about the business and winning. It just gives them an opportunity to be very versatile. He plays 2 different positions, same as Marcus Morris. I think Tobias is more of a up-the-floor running than Marcus, and I think Marcus is maybe a better one-on-one player, so they do different things on different sides of the court to give them options. And during one point in their careers, they were actually both traded to Los Angeles, but Tobias went to the Clippers and Channing was headed to the Lakers. Tobias talked about how great it was to have his favorite cousin in the same city playing on the same court as him when he said, "It's cool, he's my cousin, first cousin. We're like staying at the same place right now, same hotel, so we had lunch the other day just catching up with him. He just had an appendix taken out, so he's been resting after that. You know, we're back together a little bit. It's always good to have some extra family. That's family." Most of the time we are talking about basketball, talking about different things, family, stuff like that, but he knows the game well. When I first got traded here, he called me and was basically telling me how he feels, like this situation could be really different. Now with Gerald Green and Danny Green both finding their way around the NBA over the last decade or so, it may seem obvious that these two have some sort of connection because of their last names, but the two haven't really said much about it over their careers. With Gerald being a part of the Rockets and Danny Green on the Lakers, the two have found themselves to be specialists in their own roles for their teams. Gerald started his career being one of the most explosive, acrobatic dunkers that we'd ever seen, while Danny's been a three-point specialist on championship teams like the Spurs, Raptors, and potentially here in LA. But coming into the league, the two had completely different hype surrounding them. Gerald Green was drafted by the Celtics with the 18th pick in the 2005 draft, where he was a human highlight reel during his early years and even won a dunk contest in the NBA during the 2007 All-Star Weekend, and being a runner-up the following year in the 2008 contest. The spotlight really put him on the map, but his game has definitely evolved over the years. However, Danny Green was originally drafted by the Cavaliers all the way down to the 49th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, and he's been known for his confidence to shoot threes at clutch or critical moments like rare players before him, and even set an NBA record for most three-point field goals made in the final series during the 2013 NBA Finals against LeBron James and the Heat, before winning a championship the following year in 2014. And Danny became just the third player from North Carolina to win an NCAA championship and an NBA championship, the two others being James Worthy and Michael Jordan. Now with it being known that Chris Paul and LeBron James have been close for years on and off the court, little did many know that it was recently revealed the two are actually related as well. The two have had a close relationship even before their professional playing days, and it started back in high school. They both played in the McDonald's All-American game when they were younger, and Chris was talking about his friendship with LeBron starting then, saying, "We both played in the McDonald's All-American game and we've been tight ever since." From then on, LeBron was drafted out of high school by his hometown Cavaliers with the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft, and he instantly began his legendary career. And Chris Paul was drafted just 2 years later with the 4th pick in the 2005 NBA draft by the New Orleans Hornets, where he played for 6 years. But LeBron and Chris go way back, even playing AAU basketball against each other as teens. And they obviously played in the 2003 McDonald's All-American game together, and they were even teammates in the US Olympic team that won gold at the Beijing Games in 2008. Of course, when both of them got married, they were also at each other's weddings, and Chris even gave a speech at James' wedding, and he was also at the hospital for the birth of his 2 sons. Neither of them have anything but great things to say about each other, and Chris recently spoke about LeBron saying, "He's like one of my best friends. We talk every week, all the time. We're each other's kids' godparents." Chris Paul's even been spotted at LeBron's son Bronny's games, supporting and coaching him from the sidelines. But when LeBron was talking about his and Chris's relationship, LeBron said, "Our friendship has grown over the years. We both respect what we do on the court, but it goes way beyond that. It's kind of hard to talk about because I know how close we are. I support everything that he does. The friendship has definitely grown. He was present at both of my child's births, both of them. And I was there at his son's first birthday party and things like that, so it's deep. It's beyond basketball. You don't want him to win because that's bragging rights in the offseason. Every time we go against each other, it's the same when me and D-Wade used to go against each other for the last 7 years. I mean, you guys know how close we were, but you can never question the battles that we had going against each other. So I definitely try to get a little bit more when you can go against Chris and you're good friends." And over the years, during many instances, Chris has continued to defend LeBron James despite criticism for whatever reason. Chris recently responded to LeBron recently calling himself the greatest player of all time after winning the 2016 finals against the Warriors. Chris defended him and said, "Why wouldn't he say that? I'd say the same thing. If you don't think you're the best like that, you're in the wrong sport." And Chris has also warned the Cavaliers not to take LeBron's greatness for granted back when he publicly said, "You got LeBron James over there in that locker room, you know what I mean? What else that man need to do? Don't take it for granted, man. Don't take it for granted." Now with Chris Paul joining the Thunder right before the 2019 season, LeBron also spoke about his good friend and how excited he was to play him. LeBron even talked about a crazy move CP3 was doing in a pregame warm-up when he said, "It's a cerebral play. It's a smart play he's been doing for a lot of years. I've seen him before in a Thunder uniform, so it's not like it's foreign, but just to see him in a uniform period, one of my greatest friends, now 3 of us are still pushing and one of them's retired, so it's just pretty cool. It's a business at the end of the day. You know, you can control what you can control and what you can't, you don't have to worry about." When LeBron decided to go to Miami and join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, not many around the league wanted to support such a move taking place. Even superstars like Kevin Durant showed frustration because of this, but Chris Paul, being a close friend and also someone who'd have to go up against this unbelievable team, supported his friend Bron either way. At the time when Chris was asked about it, he said, "I think it makes the league better. You always got to expect the unexpected in this league, and that was probably unexpected for a lot of people. The good thing about it is that's in the past, and at the end of the day, we still have to play the game."